Alright. Hear me out. This is So Says Mr. Thunder. I'm Mr. Thunder. And I, today, have a special guest. And I can only say, what's today's date? Today is October the 7th. Saturday, October the 7th. It's a beautiful day in Houston. The weather is great, and we sitting outside. I have a special guest, a good friend of mine that I met through marriage. And every time we get together, we always have like a live conversation.
Yeah.
And just by your line of work and everything you do. I reached out to you because you were doing some things on Facebook where you were kind of just expressing yourself, and I felt like you would be a great person to have on here. So I want to introduce my friend Benjetta. That's what I call her. But go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up? My name is Benjetta, aka BJ. I adopted that name from people after, mental health, so they attached BJ to me.
Right.
So I'm happy to be here. I like what you're doing. I'm glad you listened to my stuff on Facebook, and it was like, okay, let me talk to her.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I got the same reaction that people have with my podcast. So you listened to a couple episodes. Like, what did you think?
So I found your podcast to be interesting. I definitely like the process and the way you're going about things, giving people a platform to kind of share their experiences. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then also just listening to you when you're just talking with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're talking out loud and anybody can kind of hear what you're saying, but you're just doing it with no regard.
Yeah.
So I really like that, and I think it's good that you're able to kind of like express yourself and just provide some perspective on so many different things that's going on in the world and also like in your life.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good thing.
That's cool.
Very transparent.
Very, very. I think that's important, man, to be yourself in a situation. So if so that's the feedback. Like we talked about, I asked you a question like, did you get anything out of it? Like you could say like one thing that you got from it, what would it be?
I think just being able to just be yourself, like being vulnerable, like vulnerability, and just also I think that's what stood out the most in me, just being able to just be okay with what you say and also being okay with the feedback that you get back from it. Right. So that's what kind of stood out the most.
Being able to process it. Mm-hmm. Right. That's and I think the best part about it is you can do it, like you said, freely, and there's no interruption.
Right.
It's a controlled environment. Mm-hmm. People have no choice but to listen. That's what this is designed to do, is being able to say something so clear and so precise that people can't do nothing but listen to it. And they have to process it because it's gonna. You already know when you speak your truth, it creates emotion. And then, sometimes people who do listen will give you their truth behind it. So with that being said, we was just talking about your truth and what we got you on here for. And you was about to go ahead and basically jump away from it, but you got so locked in that I feel like we should just stick with it.
Yeah, I think it's a conversation to be had because I don't necessarily know if people actually think about like what's in their name.
Yeah.
And so for me, I just know that when, like my name is Benjetta Harrison West.
Right.
And so Harrison was my maiden name. And when I got married, I just really wanted to carry that name because I didn't have anything of my dad. So I just kind of wanted to hold on to something. But I wasn't thinking about that in the moment when I was thinking about, okay, I want to carry his name when I got married.
Right.
Being that my dad was adopted. So my maiden name is actually his adopted name. So his biological last name is Dorsey.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Right. And so two significant things happened. He passed. And while I was at the funeral, one of his relatives, so my relative as well, on his biological side made a comment, and she was like, he never wanted to be a Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of hit me, in my gut. I was like, that's not true,
Right.
And so fast forward, I was going through my divorce at that time.
Right.
We had already been separated, but we was like toward the ending. And I remember getting a phone call from my attorney, and she said to me, do you wanna drop West and just go back to your maiden name? And I literally had to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know when people are going through a divorce and when they asking that question to them, like, do you want to drop your name? Do you want to keep your name? Like, what kind of thoughts they're thinking. Yeah. But for me, it opened up a lot of emotion because I was like battling, like, going back to Harrison means what? Like, my dad is deceased. Mm-hmm. My grandparents on his side they're deceased. So there are no other Harrisons. It's just me. So I just was like, I don't have any good memories with that last name. Right. And so I just know that I created like a family and a name with West. I have 2 sons, mm-hmm. and
you had a career,
right? Yeah,
you got a whole life,
right, underneath that name.
Yeah,
and that name has carried me. So I just remember telling my attorney, let me call you back on that, because I didn't know how to answer it in that moment. But I just didn't, and I didn't know what to do with all those emotions. So I remember just hanging up, and I called my mom, and I was like, I don't think that I'm going to drop West. I think I'm going to carry it over because I have more memories.
Now, when you called your mom, was it a question, or was it just you telling her, like, hey, I had this phone call, this is what I've been thinking, this is what I'm going to do? Or was she your balance on the decision?
Well, everybody was like, well, you going to change, you going back to Harrison, or what? What you going to do? And
why was it important, though?
I guess people just wanted me to just kind of let go of that part of my life or whatever. And I know that people do that. Like, I know that people just drop it. But for me, it was just different. So I just thought about my life, and I didn't want to hold on to Harrison. I didn't even know what that last name even meant for me anymore.
So now that you made your decision, like you at this point, you like, this is what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. I'm done. So your mom, did she give you like a thumbs up, or what was her response?
She's supportive because she know I'm a thinker.
Okay.
Probably overthink everything. But she just wanted me to just be happy in whatever decision that I made. Mm-hmm. And I think she respected it as well, because my son's last name is West. So I wanted to keep their name as well. But it was definitely a process that I had to go through.
Wow. So me being married now, mm-hmm. and having to deal with, my wife who had her married name.
Yeah.
This is crazy, like hearing it now, like the thought process, right? Mm-hmm. And how selfish of me to basically say this is your ultimatum. Mm. You know what I'm saying?
Gave an ultimatum?
Well, it was like, I'm not going to marry you if you're not going to be Mrs. Thunder, right? And it's not a hyphenated, anything. And I get, like, I've dated women who had young kids and divorced and things like that. So I get it now. That makes perfect sense. So with that being said, I mean, that's a decision, right? So if you could summarize what you just talked about and give it a title, like if somebody were to say, I need this answer, but they don't know where to look, what would you call this?
Let's see. So I've been thinking about that, and at first I was just saying, like, does your name really define who you really are? Like, what's really in your name? It's like what my starting point and place was in this. Like, what's really in your name? Mm-hmm. And how much value does it really hold? That we make these decisions, about if we should keep the name or should we, some people are very adamant about keeping their maiden name, right. And I don't know what that name means for them. And I don't know if it's a pride thing or not for those individuals, but for me, it was just, I just didn't have anything.
So it's like What's my name?
Yeah, what's my name?
What's my name?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to say it though. I don't want it to be my idea.
Okay. Yeah, like what's my name?
What's my name? That's
yeah.
That's dope. Yeah. That's the message. What's my name? What's my name?
Yeah.
Benjetta. I believe that this is gonna help somebody. It's going to help. We ain't gotta hope. Like, trust me. I know based upon the feedback that I've gotten behind people sharing their truths and giving it their title.
Right.
So if you could say, right, knowing what you know now, somebody came to you with that question, what's my name? What would you tell them?
I would say to them, I think your name has a lot to do with like your character, like your being, how you travel through life, like the work that you do in this world. I think your name has a lot to do, like I say, with your character, your value system. You know, what you do in the world to me defines who you are as a person, because everybody knows you as like your name. So it's like Benjetta West. Benjetta West, like when you get your degrees, when you apply for jobs, that's what people know you as. So, and how you present yourself with that name, I think defines who you are and what your name means to you, if that makes sense. So it's like how you're moving in that name, how the world sees you. I think that defines like who you are as a person.
That's dope.
Because think about it. The work that you do in this world, if it's good, people always remember your name by your works. Oh, that's the girl. That's Benjetta. You know, she the one who do.
So all right. So let's take these last couple of minutes and let's talk about you, so that people can know what's your name, who are you, who is Benjetta, and what is your accomplishments? Like, what are you proud of that you feel like if anybody were to hear your name, this is what they need to know about you?
I think what they will know is that I'm probably the most realist, honest, authentic person you could ever meet. I am very purposeful in my walk.
What's your accomplishments? What's your resume? Give me your resume.
My resume is really just being an advocate to like people in this world. So I serve a purpose. So like acts of services. I think that's what people know me as, like being somebody that advocate for things that may not be right in this world, that people don't understand and that they don't want to. Like, I'm going to have the conversation that don't nobody else want to have. Right. I'm going to advocate and educate people on things that everybody shy away from.
So in doing that, right, you've gotten a degree.
Yep, got 2 masters, one in psychology, one in social work.
And you use those as a profession for?
I use that. So I'm a therapist with Harris County. And then also I have my own business, Be Balanced Health and Wellness.
Okay.
Well, we do mental health coaching. And then also life coaching as well. And I do financial services.
All right. So if people wanted to reach out to Benjetta and say, hey, you know, I want to know more, how would they go about that? Like, what method of communication would you prefer? Okay. Would you prefer for them to reach me through here, or do you got like an Instagram or something like that?
You can definitely reach Ramsey, the Thunder, right? And then I'm also on Instagram is IAM_BJ, and that's BEYJAE. Yeah. Instagram platform is probably the best.
Probably the best.
Yeah, they can come through you.
Well, look, BJ, thank you. I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate you coming on here. I hope that you felt comfortable in it.
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely have more to talk about, and whenever you get ready, we can definitely create another episode. And I'll tell y'all, people, man, the one thing she told me when we were on our way up here is, I want to see what you're going to do with it. I know you
Yes.
say you don't want to be seen,
Yes.
but people need to, and I said, you know what, you're right. I said, I enjoy speaking. So if you can make that happen for me,
I can.
I'm definitely on board.
I can.
So, all right, look, I thank you.
This
has been another episode of So Says Mr. Thunder. I'm Mr. Thunder. I'm a Native American of this country, and there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. You can follow me on, damn, I hate saying follow. You can like the Instagram page, So Says Mr. Thunder. I can be Googled. I can be found on all now, right? All the podcast platforms. I appreciate y'all spending time with me and DJ. It's been real. I hope y'all got something out of it, and I can't wait to hear your feedback. And again, if you got something to say, I need 10 minutes of your best. I holler.